So, I'm pulling out my iPad today because there's some of those lyrics that I really want to make sure I remember. So, when Barbara left, when I left 2 weeks ago, Barbara had sang a song that had a lyric in it, which was, I've been hanging on this limb so long, I'm so over it. And it was, remember that lyric? I've been hanging on this limb so long and I'm so over it. And I just thought, once I got to teen camp, Karen Frost was saying, where is your title? Where is your title? Where is your title? And I was like, I don't know what my title is. I'm literally having a big awakening. I'll use the word awakening. I could use crackdown, but I'll say awakening. And so I didn't have a title, and then I realized out on a limb, because here's what I realized. So Barbara sang that great song, and then Saturday I left for camp. And when I got to camp, it wasn't long before I realized that I was out on a limb. I really was out on a limb. That I don't know whatever possessed me, James Mellon, who's never been to a place like this. In 60 years, I have never slept in that kind of a bed, and I'm using the word very generously. I have never had, Kevin's family has a camp, and I know Mom and Dad watch every Sunday, and I mean nothing in disrespect to, what's the name of that place? Osceola. I will never go. I will never be there. No, I am going to go there because his mother told me there's a hotel nearby. But this was Osceola. So Dudley, I actually made it through a whole week in this sort of, no, I had a bathroom. So, you don't have a bathroom yet, right? No. So, when I got there, I realized, oh my Lord, what made me think I should do this, add this to my list? And really, I did it for my daughter, Nora, and Will, who unfortunately couldn't go, but so for my daughter, Nora. And I was out on a limb, and then, of course, the amazing Keith Cox, and I want to put a big shout out to Keith Cox. Papa Bear, Keith Cox. I've heard all for years what Keith does with the teens, but what I witnessed and experienced was really transformative, and he transformed right before my eyes. And one of the things he said when we got there was that, just so we are all clear, he said it in a much more assertive tone, he said, just so we're all clear, it is 100% participation. 100% participation. You do not get to opt out of anything, even if it's uncomfortable. 100% participation. And I'm thinking to myself, kind of like life. You either participate or die. You may die a slow death, but you're still dying. So you either participate 100%. Now, I did think that, but then, of course, later I said to Keith, I said, the advisors don't have to, fully participate. I mean, if something seems like this isn't for me, he went, it's all for you. I was like, I know, but all? I mean, there's got to be, if, something comes up, maybe I can just help facilitate. He goes, it's all for you. This is Keith. What don't you get about 100% participation? So I said, got it, done, got it. So 100% participation. So the title of my talk today is Out on a Limb. So I want to go to the song. If you want to be brave and reach for the top of the sky, do you know who you'll meet there? If you want to be brave and reach for the top of the sky, do you know who you'll meet there? So Idlewild, where this teen camp is at the top of a very big hill, big mountain. And you go up to the top of this mountain. So I thought, what a perfect song. If you want to be brave, go spend an entire week with 380 teens who hygiene does not come into play. For a lot of them. Not for all of you, I get it. Some of you took baths, showers. Some of you took showers. Apparently no one in my cabin, but they took showers. But if you want to be brave, go spend all that time with that many teens and that many advisors who are slowly unraveling as the week goes along, too. They're sleep deprived. They are any kind of accessories deprived. I was hairdryer deprived. I literally looked like Gene Wilder all week. What? Yes. Right. So you go to the top of this hill, and I went to to assist. I went to be there for my daughter, for my teens. I went to be there, who are really my sons and daughters. I went to be there with Connie, our new teen advisor. I went to be there to bring my genius and my brilliant energy to this mountaintop, only to find out I really went up there to find me. I went up there to find me, and when the intention came along, what is your intention? And I put, to go deeper, little did I know how deep I was going to be thrust down the rabbit hole and then back out. So if you want to be brave and reach for the top of the sky, do you know who you'll meet there? The second day in, when I really did not have time to take a shower or do my hair or do anything, I woke up very early. I thought, oh, maybe I can get there before all the teens get in there and just do something to my hair or my face or brush my teeth, something fun. I thought, so I grabbed some clothes and put them on, and I'm walking over to the to where I'm going to shower, and Dr. Bob Dean sees me and he says, hold on, I need to get a picture of this. And he takes a picture of me and puts it on Facebook, which now has a few hundred comments. Because what I didn't realize I had done was put on a pair of plaid pants and then a plaid jacket, blue and red, and my hair was kind of like here, and I'm just walking. I said, okay, go ahead. That picture on Facebook. And then when I saw it, I was like, I guess I just have to let go. To just let go, because here's the deal. Am I any different because I literally have dropped every sense of my style? Is that who I mean, who am I? Am I my clothing? Because if I am, I don't appear in this picture. Literally. So that's how I started my week, and then I got there to the first workshop, and Reverend Keith said to me, would you give a talk today? And in like 10 minutes or 15 minutes. I was like, sure, of course I will. And, my mind's going, what am I going to talk about? I'm just, And I sat down, and of course I realized I needed to talk about the picture and to tell them that obviously this place, because someone from Westlake, I bet it was Linda Rojo, wrote on there, of course you look like that. Teen Camp strips everything away, and you get to go deeper. Well, that was my intention, so it was absolutely perfect. And so I get there, and my daughter, Nora, turns to me and she says, the first person got up to speak, and Nora turns to me and says, are you going to speak this week? And I went, I don't know, maybe. And then they announced me, and she went, really? And I got up and I got to speak, and it was such a rush, such a high, just like it is every Sunday for me. And the reason why I wanted you guys all here, because I know teens have a whole different idea of Sunday, and I love what you do. But I wanted you here today because I'm talking about us, what we all just went through. And I do mean us, what we all just went through. Often, back to the lyrics, often I want to walk the safe side of the street. How many of you, in this month of being fearless, walk the safe side of the street? Do the same thing day in, day out, over and over. Don't really risk. I'm sitting here and I'm looking at Rick Tamlin and Chuck Leoy, who just threw this most amazing workshop in New York, upstate New York, called The Bigger Game. That was a huge risk. That was a big gulp, wasn't it, gentlemen? That was a big gulp. But it was also a compelling, something that was literally, and I'm now speaking from Rick's book, The Bigger Game. It was a compelling thing in his life. They had to do it. We have to do these things, because when we play it safe, when we just kind of walk the safe road, Barbara just did it right here. She opened her voice and belted that top note and didn't care what was going to happen, and it was spectacular. It gave me goosebumps, and I started crying, because I've watched this woman go from playing it safe to, I don't care. I got one life to live, and here it is. So, but deep down inside, I've got to learn from the greats. I've got to learn from the greats. So when you're listening to teens talk, there was a night where the teens got to talk, and I wasn't prepared for what happened, because I was crying so deeply that it was really hard to sit there. And yet, this is what they do when someone's having a hard time. They give them their love. You want to all try that? And then just put it towards me. See, it totally worked. I'm fine. Sitting there, hearing what I was hearing, one little girl got up and said that she had tried to commit suicide 8 times, and only after the 8th time did she come to the conclusion that even death did not want her. And I was just like, and I was so compelled to get up and leave. I was like, I do not want to hear this. And I was sitting, I think, right next to Nora, and I was just, and I couldn't even look at her. I was like, I cannot look in your eyes and see you even going through this. And so I didn't. I just listened. Self-harm. How many children today are cutting? I didn't even know about that. Thank God. I didn't know that was ever going on, and then someone told me, no, they knew cutting was going on even back in the 50s, 40s, 30s. I've never heard of this thing. And yet, how many kids got up and shared that they had been doing cutting or some form of self-harm? Bullying. The bullying, I related to that. I was bullied my whole childhood. You know, I was skinny, I was apparently effeminate. I don't know what they're talking about. But I was bullied a lot. And so, these kids get up and talk about bullying, and it just broke my heart. Low self-esteem, gender confusion. Oh my God. The names that they identify as these days, I need a thesaurus. Literally, straight, gay, pansexual, bisexual, what? Asexual. Totally don't understand that one. Asexual. What else? Demisexual. You hear this? So dating is a little more confusing for these kids. It's like, hi, good to meet you. What are you? What am I dealing with here? Literally. And one of them was talking about how that, so many people up there. Connie got to be the den mother of a camp, a cabin, thank you, cabin called Other. So it's the man, the women, male, female, and other. Blender. Oh, Blender. And Blender. Oh my God, that makes better sense to me. Other sounds like it's something else. Blender. No, Blender. Perfect. So I was talking to somebody, and it was this very, attractive guy who still had his female organs. And I thought to myself, that would have been awesome to me as a young adult. When I was 18, if I met a really handsome guy who also had the other things I like, being bisexual, I'd be like, oh my God, it's like everything's in one package. Works for me. So, I'm not sitting there as probably most ministers would be like, oh, gee, I don't get this. I was like, no, I was born too soon. This, really works for me. And yet, imagine the journey someone has to take from birth to the empowerment of, no, this is who I am. This is who I am. Now, use that for yourself. From your birth to now, there is still something inside of you. There is a blender part of you that hasn't really allowed something up and out. I believe that about all of us that are of a certain age, which is any age really. That it's still a journey for us all to let it out. Let whatever out needs to come out, and be proud about it. Be empowered to do that. Be empowered to step up and say, I am this. I am pansexual, which I'm still not sure. What is that? Oh wait, that's right, because I love that one. I am pansexual. I love everyone. It's not that I'm attracted to a man or a man who has women parts or a woman who has man parts, and it's not that. I love everyone. I fall in love with the soul. And whatever you have to offer me, that's fine. Wow. What would this world be like if everyone lived their life as pan-spiritual? Think about that. No, I believe that God is at the center of all of you, and I'm okay if you chant, or if you're a Hindu. I'm okay if you're a Scientologist, if at the center of your soul you recognize and understand all things for all people. That would be brilliant. What a great way to live. So that line is, but deep down inside, I know I've got to learn from the greats. So I'm going to give you a chance today. I don't see that. Yeah, I do. Got it. I'm going to give you a chance today to learn from the greats for a moment or two. Two of my teens came up to me and said, they asked us to ask our teens, would you like to give a 3-minute talk? Have you ever had to try to ask a teen if they want to give a 3-minute talk? It's not an easy thing to do. And talk about being fearless. to get up in front of every one of their peers and the administrators that by this point are all spinning, literally spinning, right? So right away, Jamie Contente said yes. Jamie said, yeah, I'd like to give a talk. And it had to be a prepared talk, a written talk, and a rehearsed talk. And so she asked me to help her, and we had a beautiful time writing this talk for her. She's not going to really give the talk. She may give you a little piece of it. But I asked her, and then also Sammy, I asked, Sammy said to me, I'd like to give a talk, or I think I asked you, and you said yes. And then she got up and talked about, having a brother who was first. What was the first line of her talk? I played with my brother when he was a little girl. I think it went over a lot of people's heads. Connie and I went, so, but it was so empowering, right? The two of them. And so all the kids got up and spoke, and it was so heart-wrenching and beautiful. And then Devin, are you here? Oh, good. And then Devin leans over to me and he says, I wish I'd have talked. I went, good point, because now you can go get over at that mic. Now it's just get up and talk. And he was like, oh. And I love that face you made first. It was like, oh, I should have shared this later. I wish I'd have talked. And so we were like, get up. And all the kids were like, get up, Devin, get up. And he runs over, and he proceeds to give a 3-minute talk that was just hysterically funny and so touching. Not one other child got up and quoted Plato. I was so proud of our center. And I didn't even teach him that. So it was really spectacular. So today, I've asked Denise to just speak for a minute and just tell you a little something that I think will enlighten us and get you to see what it's like to be fearless, to step out of your comfort zone and literally just fearlessly step into this. Jamie Contente. I'm going to stay here with you.
Hello. Is this on?
Yep.
Yes, it is. So I'm going to share with you the beginning of my speech just to let you all, be aware. So my speech started out, the world tells me how I'm supposed to be, how I'm supposed to act, and what I'm supposed to look like. But how I act and who I am and how I present myself has to come from in here, not out there. So that's what camp did for me. That's what camp showed me. But not exactly. It led me to the places where I needed to realize for myself. And this was probably the most emotional camp for me. And I don't know why. Every other camp, it took me a while just to figure out what are these workshops going to do for me. And this was the first camp where any little thing someone said to me, I was bawling. And I didn't understand why. If I needed water, I was like, I don't know. And it was really funny. It took me till the end of camp to realize that every other camp I was denying myself because I didn't want to face what was going on. And I'm actually really proud that I got to go to this camp. And to be honest, my brother didn't get to go with me, but I think that's what I needed.
It was so amazing to, because she really, during her 3-minute talk, she was like, so I have all these voices in my head, and some of them are your voices, and I don't want your voices anymore. I only want my voice, the only voice that matters. And let's face it, we're being taught that the voice that's in our head is the voice of God, so why do we need any other voices? We were like, whoa, okay. Well, thank you for that. Right? So, Sammy, is your voice feeling better? Come down. Here's Sammy.
About as nervous as I was when I talked at teen camp. I don't actually have my talk anymore. I gave it away to someone who was very dear to me and talked as well. But my talk was about transformation and how I grew up with a sister that turned into a brother and is still going into that phase, or choice, I guess. And it was it impacted me so much that it helped me step into my power and say that I was gender neutral and pansexual. And it was nervous. I was very, very nervous when I did it, but it kind of released whatever I had. And it just made me feel like way better just telling everyone my brother's story and telling everyone to follow their paths and do what I did. So, yeah.
So I just want you to acknowledge what fearlessness really is. That this woman, young woman, just got up and... Young it, see? This young thing, she just got up in front of all of you and told you that she is gender neutral and pansexual. When was the last time you stood in front of anyone and told the truth, the absolute truth of who you are, and really told the truth of what you're thinking and what you're feeling? Really told the truth when you look in the mirror and honor and acknowledge what's inside of you and actually stood up to it and for it. So, so Devin, come on down. So Devin, you know, this was Devin's first camp at all, and you know, I think he was a little nervous when he got to camp, weren't you?
Yeah.
And he was like a star on this campus. I mean, everybody just looked at him and saw the love, and then I just loved it when he leans over and he goes, I really should have spoken. Good, you can, get over there. And he was like, Devin.
Teens, give me love. We got you. Okay. So what a lot of people remembered about my talk was that I realized that if I told my parents that I gave a talk, they would want me to either reenact it or tell them every detail. So what I ended up doing is just recording it on my phone. And I made a couple jokes where I ended up talking to my parents in front of everybody is what it ended up being. But I said that I recorded it so that my parents could hear it. There's my dad over there. You wave, Dad? But I really recorded it so that I could hear it later because I knew that I would need it, and I'm a fan of taking my own advice because I like giving advice and I end up ignoring it myself. That's a bad habit of mine. So I recorded it and then played it immediately after and then watched James' video that he took of it so that I could take my own advice and calm myself down because I was still really nervous after. But the quote from Plato, I talked about Plato's allegory of the cave, where people were trapped to look at a wall that had shadows casted on it, and they thought that all life were these shadows. And then they turned around to look at the fire that was casting it and didn't know what it was, basically, because they thought life was just shadows. And then by the end, I basically said that everything we learn from people that we trust, like our parents or teachers, most of the time who know what they're doing. But I realized that those figures we trust to know what they're talking about. So I realized that if I trust myself, then I can tell myself who I am, and I won't have a problem with that. And that's why I recorded it too, so that I could tell myself that. So that was basically my talk.
Don't you love that? I listen to my own advice. I love that. Or I like to give advice, and sometimes I don't listen to it. I have no relation to that at all. So the last speaker who's going to speak for us today did not speak at camp, but told me that she had something to say today, and I am so proud of her. This is a girl who I've watched the last couple of years grow into such an amazing young woman, and with such intelligence and such heart and such soul, and even more so, what an amazing caustic wit. So please welcome Rachel Bork.
Can I swear?
You can swear, sorta, I guess.
So I wrote this in the car ride coming here because I didn't write anything for camp, but then I haven't written since like January, and when I write, I get to like the happy, beautiful part inside of me, and so I really like writing, and I'm happy, and I did it this morning. So, hey guys. For those of you not familiar with teen camp, it's why we've been asking you to buy water bottles all year long. Camp is a week-long healing session with the kindest people on earth in a judgment-free environment. We do all sorts of workshops with our families, which are randomized groups of people who we call like our mom, our dad, our brothers, our sisters. We're there to dive deeper, and they're there to support you and give you love in however they can. Camp basically opens you up and cleans your wounds and stitches you back up with the teachings of science of mind. You can go up to any person at camp and hug them, tell them you love them, and leave camp with yet another friend. It's a revolutionary experience for a group of 350 plus teenagers to feel such an overwhelming support system that the shift back home actually is really hard on us. Camp is where I am happiest. It's where I feel most loved and most valued. It's where I became me. I learned to express myself truly and genuinely. Two of the biggest lessons I learned at camp are, one, to be the light instead of burning out. This relates to continuing life as if you are at camp every single day, with pure love and genuinity to yourself so that others will see how you act and radiate it. Okay? It's like, it spreads like wildfire, a constant acting out of self-love and compassion, strength, and open-mindedness. The second is that I'm a hot bitch. Okay, so at one point in camp, we were creating new affirmations about self-love, and one of my new favorite people from Santa Rosa, I think, a very quiet and adorable girl, decided to state that she was a hot bitch. Or actually, she is a hot bitch. For those who are unclear to why bitch is a positive thing, we explained to my camp mom that to be a bitch, you are yourself, no matter what judgment you feel upon you, and you take no shit from others. The revolutionary act of being yourself really rang true to my camp sister because she's transgender, for those of you who don't know what that means. A lot of people around her don't support her in her transition to becoming a girl, but I most certainly do, and at camp she is treated with nothing but love. Her statement became our family's mantra every time we met. A lot of people struggle with self-love at camp, as James stated. In fact, during Empowerment Night, I decided to join the group of Body Confidence Empowerment. Basically, we all shared what we felt insecure about and then wrote down those traits with positive descriptions, such as, I have cute thighs because I do, or I have pretty eyes because I do. And then we decided that not only did we already embody these traits, but we would continue to look in the mirror and affirm that these statements were true and we are perfect because we are. I challenge all of you to do the same. I challenge you all to do the same response to how others want you to look. I challenge you all to do the same, not responding to how others want you to look or how you feel you will be most attractive, but to make every bit that you dislike the most beautiful bit about you. Because isn't that what we teach? That there is no negative energy, but only the absence of positive. So fill that hole of insecurity with love from yourself, because we are all hot. We are all hot bitches. Thank you.
Oh my, oh my, my, my. Ah. So, I will close this up very shortly since I've been outspoken. Free to be fearless. They were all given, and through you, by the way, you've helped immensely in sending every one of these kids to teen camp. They paid a lot less. They were given a gift of being free to be fearless by driving them up a mountain and putting them all in one place, where, as they said, they loved one another. What I'm wearing is called a Love Award. And what they did was gave out all of these Love Awards with 80 extras, and anyone who had 2 had 30 minutes to get rid of one and go give it to someone else. So for the rest of the week, everyone walked around giving each other Love Awards, and you had an affirmation with it. Mine was, All there is in this universe is love, which means all you are is love, no matter what. So all week I kept giving mine away, and occasionally you'd see someone who was hoarding like 6 or 7. But as an advisor, your job was to say, hi, why don't I walk with you as you give them all away? And then they would give them all away. And it's something we're going to do here. We're actually going to make like 150 of these and have a Love Awards Sunday. And we're going to give you all 2 and give you 1 day to give it away and give your friends that opportunity. And we will watch this spread all through this city. Because that's what happened. It spread through that whole camp. Loving. Just love. Just love. Just love. Love only. So at the end of the camp, and my closing is a young man got up and speak, Grayson. And he basically said, Gray, I think his real name is Grayson, but Gray. He got up to speak, and very eloquent and elegant, and he wants to be a minister someday, and he's going to be an amazing minister. Yeah, right? He's going to be great. So he got up, and he basically said, when you are at camp, you're in a bubble. You are in a bubble, and it's so bright in here in this bubble. And then the bubble bursts as you're on your way down the hill. Well, I thought about that, and I thought, when we come here on Sunday, we're in a bubble. We're in this beautiful bubble, whether you're online in bed with your coffee or you're in this room. We're in a bubble. And then we are charged, as Rachel just charged us, to walk away from here and not just let this bubble burst. And he said, so it can't be that we're ever in a bubble. We just need to step into the light and then be the light. And what he said was, instead of having a camp bubble, we need to have a camp lamp. So that we are right here in this lamp. There's no shade over us creating a dimming. I think sometimes we come in here and we are burst with light. And then we put our lampshade back on to go outside so that we can talk to people without them thinking we're crazy. Well, I'm going to charge all of us to get rid of our bubble and really understand that we are the light. The name of this camp was To Infinity and Be One. I know, they misspelled it on the poster, so it said To Infinity, and on the T-shirts. Some of them have T-shirts, you'll see it. It says To Infinity, they forgot the I. So, but it was called To Infinity and Be One. So, here's what I know. I know that what I understood when I said I wanted to go deeper, and when I understand about free to be fearless, the biggest fear most of us have is facing ourselves, is looking at ourselves and really seeing who we are, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And whether you have warts, acne, whatever danger, whatever stuff's gone on in your life, how many of you have like stuff that you're still dealing with at this age, right, from the past? Whatever that is, we have to be fearless and look at it from the light. And then not put the shade back on and walk away and carry that stuff with us. Or carry that shit with us, really. So that is not my authentic self, because I don't talk like that. I have been teened. I do talk like that sometimes, okay. So our job is to be willing to be fearless enough to look at ourselves. Are you fearless? Are you that fearless? Are you willing to look at your stuff and say, I don't like this. I'm done with this. I don't need to carry this anymore. And I'm done blaming anyone who I think handed it to me. Because guess what? You took it. You cannot hand me something if I don't take it. You cannot throw it at me. It will fall off. Right? So there's our charge. Free to be fearless, to look at ourselves and say, I am God. All of it, and I will now choose which of it I decide to live. Just like Jamie, I don't need anyone's voices but my own. Because let's face it, are we not teaching that the voice inside my head is the voice of God? And as Devin says, it's time for us to listen to ourselves. Namaste. Thank you.